Hello and welcome. I am Rochelle Fosu, and I have with me my mentee, Lucy and Brice, who is a financial analyst at JP Morgan Chase. We're having a quick little fireside chat about mentorship. It was Mentors Month, and so we just decided to have a conversation, and Lucy's going to ask me some questions. I have no idea what they are, so give us 15 minutes and it'll probably be a lot of fun. Over to you, Lucy.
So I know a lot about you, right? I got to read your bio, I've gotten to know you. And one thing I just want to start with, like you had a troubling time when you were preparing for college and you had to go back to Liberia.
Right.
How did you get through that difficult time?
Oh, that's a question. It's so interesting because I was just talking to a very close friend of mine who is like egging me on to write that book. And I'm actually going to probably put my foot slightly into the water of sketching the chapters for that. But, hindsight being 2020, I was very covered by God and didn't even know it, honestly, because I was 16 going on 17. And, I had faith. Faith was instilled in me, but I wasn't really acting it out at that point completely. And so for me, I think the biggest thing that got me through that, first of all, was God's covering, but second of all, was just persistence towards a goal. And the goal was getting out of the country and to safety. And that took about a year and 2 or 3 months to do. But that's every morning when I woke up, that was my goal. And I inched just a little bit closer to it every single day.
Yeah, and I love hearing that story of you being able to overcome that experience just because we all have goals. And that's one of the reasons why we look for a mentor. We want someone who can help guide us. So
Right.
during that time, did you have like a family member or a mentor, someone formally that kind of just kept you motivated towards going to
Right.
college?
Um, I had friends who saw the vision for me. I think that I didn't even see. I didn't necessarily have a mentor because most of my family members and I got separated during the war. So
Mm,
there wasn't necessarily an older person per se. But I did have some friends who really seemed to be invested in seeing me get out of there. And so they kind of helped me at different points along the way to do that.
got you. So when do you think you found your first mentor?
Um, My first mentor, actually, I kind of happened into, I didn't plan it. Her name was Kathy Hartley and is Kathy Hartley, and she was at Accenture with me. And I happened to end up on a project of hers that was a really small project. There's only 5 of us on the project. So I got to work with her really closely. And she was really hard, but very particular, very meticulous, and very just like detail oriented. And so she mentored me, and it was a pretty hard mentoring, but I learned a lot in that short amount of time. And I learned the importance of interacting with senior level executives as a female, and seeing her as a female executive do that flawlessly. And I learned a lot just by being in the room. So it wasn't official, it just kind of happened.
Got you. Which is sometimes how it happens. Sometimes you ask and sometimes you just fall into it.
Right,
But I early on, I am you're my mentor, I'm your
right,
mentee.
right,
And you definitely told me a little bit about building relationships. I'm
right,
very early in my career. I'm sure some people watching are.
right.
How do you think is a good way in a career to maintain that relationship, whether it's a mentor or your boss that can become a mentor?
Right. I think it's important to develop human connections with those people beyond just the immediate of, I have a question, I need your help, but just developing human relationships. So finding connection points, be it, similar sports you like, or, like I'm going to pick up golfing this spring. I'm going to find some guys or women. I actually have heard of some women who are really good golfers in my area. So I'm going to start to create some relationships just around that, right? And um, and then other things kind of come out of that. Advice comes out of that. Other relationships kind of come out of that. So always trying to expand, your horizon around the kind of things you're doing
Yeah.
and relating as a human to those people so that over time they're giving you advice about, marriage or children or whatever, and it becomes more of a relationship than, just business mentorship.